Hello everyone, Esther here with our second episode in the newbie guide series. So let me just make this a little bit lower and we can get started. So in the first episode we set up the server, we made our character and we started the game. What do we do now? Well, now we do whatever we want, but some things are more important than others if you are very new to the game. First off, here we have a well and you can drink water from here. If you click on your decanter, you can drink as much as you want, and once it's empty you have to fill it again. So you need to find a water source and come here and click to fill if it's not full already. You click on your info button and you can see how hungry and thirsty you are. This goes all the way up to 20. So when it goes down, you will need to consume food and water, or otherwise you will not be able to heal your character, which is a death sentence, so it's good to keep you nice and chubby. Here is the most important building in the entire game, which is the bank, and you can double click the vaults to have access to a container where you can store all the stuff that you find. Now, we don't have much on us, we have 150 gold pieces. We could buy a bow and buy some arrows and start fighting, but that's not very efficient. What we'll do now is take a walk around. There's all sorts of NPCs that can train you in skills, but we cannot afford that at the moment. I think that we can do, excuse me, is to come up here to the Lord British Castle. If you are familiar with the game, then you know who Lord British is. If not, it's a very fancy NPC that you can talk to, and that eventually will give you some quests that you can use to retrieve a very specific item in exchange for a very powerful item. You just left click an NPC and select talk, and it will bring up an interactive dialogue. And an uninteractive dialogue, mind you, I'm sorry. And this dialogue gets saved on your character's record. So if you want to know what a jester can do, you just come here to help and library, and it will have the stuff that you find saved. Here, since we are here, we can go to the settings and take a look at some options. I like weapon ability names. Once you have the skill up, this makes it much easier. You can set a harvesting container. We only have one container right now, so that's all we need. And the loot container. You can set a few different play styles. They change how the loot drops work. So if you want to be evil, you can turn evil on, and this will make all the items most items you find look very edgy, and that's very nice. You can also go for like a Oriental style if you're playing a samurai or a ninja or something, and a barbaric style, which is if you want to have like a Conan adventure. That's all I need for now. But this place usually has a few things that we can take. So let's take a look here. There's a hidden door here, so you can enter. Oh, it's locked. It's a shame. We don't have any lockpicks, so we cannot take these things. But you might be luckier than me and get some free loot from this. There are coffers that you can steal in this game if you have the stealing skill. I don't have it yet, but here we go. We got some loot that we can click and drag to our bag, and 2 unidentified items, a shield and a bracelet. We don't have the skills to ID them. That doesn't matter very much, and people don't care when you take stuff from those chests, so you might do it freely. Let's set a few hotkeys for us. On Razor, you can go to the hotkeys tab, and you can have like every spell in the game assigned to a button, every skill in the game. For us, I want to go to hiding and bind it to the H key. So I click set, and now every time I press this key, I will attempt to start hiding. And also searching. Now searching, I'll make a macro. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll show you how to make a macro real quick. So you can, skills that have this blue box close to them are skills that you can toggle actively. So you can click and drag and you have a button for your skill. So when we go to, let me just put the sound option to keep it in the background. Yeah, better. When you go to your scripts tab, you have a whole bunch of scripts that you can use, that you can code to use. Yours will not have anything in here, but I will show you how to make important ones. So to get a very basic macro that raises our searching skill, I would click new, I would name it like search macro, and this gives me a blank space. So I'll click record here and go back to the game. Now every action that I take will be recorded, so I'll double click searching and click myself and click stop. So here I got a little game searching and I found nothing hidden in there. So what I can do is make wait 8,000 seconds, 8,000 milliseconds, so I can wait for 8 seconds and loop. So this will make me keep searching every 8 seconds. I will have a chance to get a skill gain. And let's set a button to it, to set a hotkey. I'll make Shift C. So now I can press the buttons and I'll keep gaining searching while I walk around and talk to you. Can only have one of those active at once, but it doesn't matter very much. Other thing that we could do would be make a very similar macro to our anatomy. So let me show you how we would do that. Let's get to the monk here. Anatomy is a skill that influences both our healing and our damage. It's very important to get it. So we go to scripts, we stop the current one, and we make a new one, call it anatomy. We press record, and click the button, and it will tell us who we want to examine. So we want to examine the monk, and it will make us an anatomy check. So we can wait and loop this again, and we can keep doing this. So if you are like leaving the game for a while, you can leave your character doing this and it will keep gaining skills and learning a little bit of anatomy as it goes. So we can go all the way up to 100 with this. Takes an hour or two because this is an easy skill to raise and it's a very important skill to raise. So I would recommend doing that whenever you have some downtime. But for the video, let's not do that. We bound the button to our hiding skill so we can press it, we can macro it as well. And we keep, every few seconds we will keep getting our hiding gains. Let's equip our dagger and go to our hotkeys tab and items, use item in hand. I will do this Shift X. So whenever we press Shift X, we get to use our item. So we can try to take some stuff from this tree. It's an oak tree and we got some acorns for it, which is food and we'll have eventually. And we can do it again, this time to shave some kindling up the tree. And we can keep repeating that until we are satisfied. I don't want acorns, I want kindling. Thank you very much. This is not something we can sell, but it's something that is important for our camping skill, which is something we will be using in the end game to get some of the best gear in the game. And it takes a while to raise, so it might be better to start now. Camping is also a great skill because it raises all of your attributes. It has a chance to raise all of your attributes. You can double click your health bar to bring this little window here that shows you your strength, your dex, your int, health, mana and stamina, your luck, how much you're carrying, your damage, and your resistances. So let's try to get a campfire going. We just double click the kindling. Since our skill is horrible, we will fail a lot. But this is a skill that raises very fast, especially if you have server settings like mine. And while we are doing this, we are running our searching macro. And this is getting us gains in the searching skill here. We are already at 4.8. So now we got the campfire going. And we can wait around it for a little bit. You can get one of those campfires every 10 minutes. So we just wait until this one fades, because resting at it gives us skill gains. And once you're very good at camping, you can use a tent to camp and to store your loot. It's very handy. So one thing that you have to debate is if you want to play with outs or not. You probably should. It makes the game much easier. You can make like a crafter that starts with 15 in bow crafting and lumberjacking and hike some trees and get yourself some gear. You can start with a tailor, and that is really nice. But if you don't want to play outs, then you will have to suffer a little bit to get your starting gear. But this is a difficult game, and suffering is part of it. Here in the second floor of the Defenders of Sosaria, we have access to a training dummy. So we can raise our fencing skill to get better with this dagger. And even though fencing is not something that we will use later on, it's something that we will be using now. My settings are very high. I got very high gains on fencing, and this gives me more attributes. You might be clicking on this thing a lot if you haven't changed your settings. So let's get all the way up to 25. 25 is fine. So we can go to our combat tab, and we see that we have 24 fencing, and that we got some attributes out of it, which is really nice. And 25 fencing will not do much for us, but it will allow us to get some combat done. Now, we can get in combat, but we suck at it because we have very low skills. So something we can do, first off, we will see if this merchant wants to buy this unidentified gem we got. It is an unidentified bracelet we got, I mean. And they don't, which is understandable. So let's see if this jeweler wants it. No, they don't. Out of our starting gold, to make the most of it, what we definitely should do is come here to the tailor and buy a scissor. You can get all sorts of stuff here, all sorts of cool clothing and materials to make better clothing. But the important thing here is the scissor right now. When you are out of town, you can be attacked, you can be killed, and this is something you need to get used to. This game can be very brutal and very unforgiving at times, and it's part of its charm. But just south of Britain, we have a farm that is going to be our favorite place for a while. You can just walk over the field and you automatically harvest the cotton and the flax. And this is what will keep us alive in the early game. So let's stop that script that we have. Now we can double click our dagger and click a sheep to get the wool from it. Or we can use our use item in hand macro hotkey, so which I already forgot which one it was. Shift X, and we can give this sheep a trim, and that will be very much it's that for now. So we got a bunch of piles of wool that we can use here in the spinning wheel to make spools of string. And let's get our cotton as well. Just double click, it changes to a target, and you click the wheel. Now we have 186 spools of string. Let's double click it and use the loom. And it made a gigantic amount of cloth. We can then use the scissors and the cloth to make bandages. As you might notice, this is very heavy, and we can't carry a lot of stuff. So we will go back to the bank and deposit most of it. If you click the right and left click button at the same time, you can start to auto run. The character will move in the direction that your mouse is pointing to. And whatever makes the game more convenient, it's welcome. So it's a good thing to know. We open our bank and we can click and drag, and it will ask us how much we want to drag. Let's put 1,500 here. Now we have 350 bandages with us, which is more than enough. Now, if you have a crafter, you can go and fetch wood and fetch the cloth and start making gear for yourself, or you can go mine and make your swords and armor, but we won't be doing that. At least not for now. Let's get back to Razor and to our hotkeys, into the targeting section. And we will set a few hotkeys. For us, we want to target the closest non-friendly, which is, you just find the non-friendly here, set a key to it, and you set a key to attack last target, and one for clearing target queue. Then you go to your macros tab, click new, and record, and you press those three buttons, pause the recording, and set a hotkey to it. I like to go Shift Wheel up, and what this will do is that when I press this button, I can automatically target something. Let's bring it here. So this is the health bar, so I can start doing some crimes against the local wildlife. This will get me tactics, anatomy, and whatever weapon skill I'm raising. So the corpses here, we can go to our Shift X to use our item in hand to skin it, and it will give us feathers and meat. And we can fight other things while we are doing it. Another important script for us is our healing script. I have an auto heal here that says when I am not dead, if I am not bandaging and my health is not at max, press the Bandage Self button and wait a little bit and keep repeating. I'll set a hotkey to that, Shift C. This one will be in the description of the video, so you can just copy paste it. And now I can start bandaging whenever I am taking damage. I press this little button here to bring up my buff bar, and it tells me and it tells me how long until the bandage sticks. Be careful with the bears when you are starting out. The monsters will run in the opposite direction that you are when they are on low health. And that is important to know because sometimes you might want to kite them into a specific direction. Now we skinned this one and we got some meat, some leather and some fur. We'll take all of this stuff. You can, if you have auto loot set up in your Tazuo options, you can shift click something to add it to auto loot, so whenever it appears on something, it will automatically try to take it. Other thing that you can do is bracket loot, and you can say that whenever you open a container or a corpse, you automatically want to take the coins and nuggets, gems and jewels, and whatever else you want. I want the arrows and boats, and I want the bandages as well. You can set a loot container so they all will come here. And you can repeat this until you get a good skill level. I like to get at least 25 in tactics before I move to the next session, and as much anatomy as I can. And we are taking damage because this goat is kicking our ass. So if we go too low on health and our bandage is still taking its time, we can always run away. So let's skin this goat and take all the cloth and all of the wool from it. This llama has met their match. We will be fighting it. And that was a very easy fight. As much as llamas are scary, they are not that important, that aggressive, or that powerful. And since we are going to make an archer, we will be fighting all the birds that we can find to get as many feathers as we can find. I will put the feathers on auto loot, so now they will automatically drop into this container. You can always set the loot bag in here as well. And that's the very beginning of the character. It's important now to get your skills up and to familiarize yourself. If something looks scary and it looks like it will kick your ass, it probably will, so be careful with that. And once we fought a lot of enemies, we can go to the town and sell our products. Let's just take a few more enemies before we do that. Stay close to the city, it's important. If you die, you need to find an ink or a healer to heal you up. And there is one in Britain. Here you can always take enemies one at a time. Okay, we finished applying our bandages. So let's see if the tailor wants to buy the furs that we found. They do. So they don't sell for much because they are very easy to get, but it's some money. And now we have 187 gold. Our goals for right now are to get a horse and to get some better gear for us. We go all the way up here. There's a butcher. Let's see if he wants some of our meat. $32 more gold. We're getting there. And let's go all the way around. To the leather workers. And we can sell our leather to him. And look at that, we are already at 250 gold. Humble beginnings, but good beginnings. A horse costs like 500 gold or something, so we are halfway there already. I'll do some more fighting in this video. We also could really use some extra money to get training and some skills, but that might take us a while. And our tactics is going up. Notice we show a lot of skills because we have them all marked to raise, so let's get this one. And you can see your skills in here as they raise. For some reason my hotkeys are not working, so I'm going to relog real fast. Let's skin those enemies. You can even drag the items to your purse so you always know how many you have, which is helpful if you don't want to farm until you are full. But we will do a lot of farming right now. Let's take the bird. The main purpose here is to build up your anatomy and your tactics. Let's see if we can fight a bear. Bears are scary, they can do a lot of damage at once, so we might have to do some tactical retreats in here. Like that. So sometimes you will fail your bandaging attempts, and you have to wait for them to go again. But here you can just very easily outrun the enemies and wait for the ticks. So we finish applying the bandages, we healed, so let's go here for round 2. We are getting some very slow gains in healing. This is a very hard skill to raise, but it's an important skill to have. Once you are at 60 skill, you can start healing poisons, and then dungeons become much easier. And there we go, kill the bear. It drops much more leather than the other animals because it's much more dangerous. And since the fights take longer, you also get a lot more skill gains. So always pay attention to the bandage timer and to your health, because this part is not very challenging if you already know how to do it. Otherwise it might be tricky. Since I think that 10 minutes passed, we can try to do a campfire again. This will build up our skill and has a chance of raising our attributes. So there's already a campfire nearby. So let's keep fighting in the campfire. As long as you stay close to it, you have a chance of getting gains in camping. One more hit. Oh, that hit us hard. So, but it's a good learning opportunity. When you die, you become a ghost, and you can resurrect and lose a bunch of skills by pressing this button. I don't recommend it. Or you can go search for a healer. So let's go find a healer. There's a handy arrow showing you where to find one. And the word looks a bit gray right now. It's because we are a ghost. And don't worry, you will die in this game. You will die in this game a lot. It's part of the charm of it. When we get close to the healer, we have a chance to resurrect by asking them nicely. And then we don't have our stuff with us anymore. So we click this button and it shows us where our corpse is. Here you can see it in a map. So it's very simple now, but when you are in a dungeon that has filled with enemies, it gets a bit tougher. See here, the NPCs will ask you randomly talking about your characters. I do development for this game, so I have a few random ones that will show up in the stories on occasion. So here we have our corpse. Let's take our stuff back. The trapper doesn't like us very much because we tried to murder him. And it's very strong since we don't have any armor. So let's leave it alone and go fight somewhere else. We lose a lot of stamina when we are hit due to our lack of gear and to our general lack of stamina. So you need to be careful with that. If your stamina reaches 0, you cannot move, you're too exhausted for that. So that can be deadly as well. Let's try moves. I'm just hitting my macro. If you don't have the macro and don't want it for some reason, you can just click and drag to get the health bar and double click to start fighting it. Oh, it drops 20 ladders. That's nice. I am keeping my healing script up whenever I take damage, so I don't have to micromanage that, and I keep gaining healing skill. I think we should find more mooses to get the ladders faster. A carrier pigeon. It has a message. Let's see. Centuries ago, the dead were stuffed with herbs of resurrection and then wrapped in cloth to preserve them. I don't know who this message is for, but they're not getting it anymore. Let's quickly heal up. This moves is being difficult, but the skill gains are good. We are at 11 tactics already. And let's go sell this stuff. We don't need to, we still can carry a lot, but I don't want this video to be too long. So let's go first to the tailor. We just double click the item and then click the plus sign to sell more than one. And of course, if we don't want to sell the meat, we can learn to cook and start being self-sufficient and making food for ourselves. To do that, we go to the cooking NPC and buy some cooking pan. I'll show you that in a moment. And we start training the skill as well. So the people and the things that are around the city are completely random, so I don't know why there's a dragon chilling here, but he must have the reasons. You can come to the cook and get yourself a lot of different food. You can come here to the baker and get even more food. And you can come to the tinker that is down there and buy yourself a tube that will allow you to do crafting. Just see if the NPC wants to buy this shield that we found. No. If you don't have a tinker of your own, you need to use one of these to buy your tools. But having a tinker is very helpful, and I strongly recommend you to make one of those eventually. All you need is to mine some metal, and then you can make all the tools you want. So if you wanted to cook, you would come here, buy yourself a culinary set, then you would find a fire source like an oven, and equip the item, double click it, and you would have a list of things that you can try to cook. You will probably not be doing a lot of that in the beginning because you don't have skills, but eventually you will be able to get your food needs met. But we will just sell our stuff for money. And now we have 443 gold. Let's see how much a horse will cost us. Come here to the animal trainer. If we had the skills to tame, we could just tame this horse. But there's all sorts of animals that you can get. Where is the horse? It doesn't seem to be selling at the moment. There's a llama here that we can mount for 533 gold. me see how long this video has been going for. Yeah, let's do some more fighting and get ourselves our very own llama. You might think that maybe getting a bow or getting some skills is more important, but being able to move faster is much more important than getting our weapon right now. Sometimes you'll find those wandering healers around. They're very nice. They will allow you to resurrect in case you are killed. Let's keep going. We are gaining for the forensics skill. The higher your forensics, the more meat and ladders you get from enemies. So it's a very good thing to have. We probably won't be using it later on, but for now it doesn't bother us. I think that for next video I will make a crafter and I will show you how to get it going. Then we will transfer these feathers from this character there, and we will make ourselves a bow and some arrows. There are more farms around Britain, and you can get loot from them, you can get food. They are very good to know. You can get like wheat and make bread to get your cooking skill up. And we should always keep an eye on our number of bandages as well. If it gets low, go back to the bank or back to the farm and get more. We will fail a lot of our bandages currently, and that is fine. As long as we are careful and don't try to fight something that we have no business fighting, we will be good. Walking around the healer healed us, and he does that every couple minutes. So let's get to the leather worker and the tailor and get the money that we need for our mount. You can also on Razer set something called an agent to auto sell some items whenever you click the sell option on an NPC, which is very handy. Let me show you that. I just noticed that I might not be recording that screen, which would be sad. Oh no, I am. That's fine. So we go to agents. We go all the way down to sell and add targets. And we go to like the cloth, the fur here, and the meat. And push to enable. Sorry. Now when you click the sell option, it automatically sells everything that the NPC buys, and it saves us some time. let's go make one last trip to the butcher. And it automatically showed our meat. Now we are at 657 gold, which is a lot of good progress for this character. They're so young. The animal trainer now. I just want to double check if there's no horse. Doesn't seem like it, Shan. It doesn't matter very much. Except the... Oh no, this is a zebra, not a llama. We click on it, we get a box, get out of the building, and we have our very own llama that we can double click to mount. And look at that. Now we are much faster. And life is starting to look good for little Talia here. So we can repeat this and get more money to get our skills trained. Of course, the more skills you have, the faster this thing goes. And whenever you have downtime, we can press the hiding button a few times to get this skill going. But I will work on it eventually. Let's see our bank. It's not looking like much now, but it will get there. Sometimes you have copper and silver, and you might be wondering how to convert them to gold. So just put them in your bank, double click, and it will automatically transform your currencies into gold. Since no one wants the shield and the bracelet, we will be selling them. We won't be selling them, so let's just put them in the trash barrel. And some of this other stuff that we won't be using. We can eat up some of our acorns and drink some water to top us up. I am already familiar with this book. If you haven't read it, you should. If you are already done with it, then you can throw it safely, throw it away. And now we can rest for a bit. I will make the little script for an anatomy. Do I have the button somewhere? And I'll record it, press play, and target this guy. Add a weight. And save and press play. And now every once in a while I'll get a skill gain and I'll leave Talia here while I do other stuff that I have to do. But I'll be back soon with another character that will get resources that we will use to actually get started with our bows. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.